guys are played five really strong games to start. I guess when you're looking back, not just at last night, but just how are you kind of assessing these first bunch of games here as a whole?
Yeah, same way. I mean, I think we played smart hockey, competitive hockey. We've been committed on the defensive side of things. I think that's showing up in our underlying numbers. PK's doing a nice job. Power play is going to get going here. But like the commitment to play to our identity, to defend the right way, as well as be hard to play against on the offensive side of it, is there, and it's a great starting point to the season. Really good focus from our team.
The seems like the power play is not having trouble getting into the zone. It's just you said it's not as dangerous as you want it to be. Is that easier to fix than the zone entry stuff, or does it not matter, or how do you view that?
Different issue, different day. I think I know nothing's easy to fix because the other team has something to say about it too. We can critique our power play all day in yesterday's game, on what they could have done, should have done, what was open, what wasn't. Execution, whatever the factor is on any given night. But Boston's got something to say about it too, and they've got a really strong penalty kill. They've been having some success because of it. That being said, we have to find a way to maneuver around that. And, that's the cat and mouse that you play on a nightly basis. Like I said, I'm not concerned about it for now. We're finding ways to win games. If it starts chipping in a little bit more, it's going to make things even easier for us, I believe. But it's all a work in progress this time of year. We stick with it and keep working and trying to find solutions.
Talking about that depth with the team, are there any guys that are kind of just not reaching your expectations? I mean, I know it's only 6 games in, but anybody that you're kind of looking.
I would say
more?
no. I've liked it. Like there'd be games where this guy or that guy has a underwhelming night or just an average night. But I would say for the most part, like we rank our players based on what we expect from them on a nightly basis, and our rankings have been high because and it's on both sides of the puck and what they're contributing, when it comes to their identity, their role in the team is how we try to evaluate them. And for the most part, like we've been good. Like we've had more guys pulling the rope in one direction than, sort of slacking off in the other. And, so again, I'm pretty happy with, most of our individual guys, our lines, the things that we're doing and process for us. And so I think that's why we're getting results.
I think you said, speaking of expectations, you said I don't know what to expect when Ilya got here. So now that you've had him for a few games, 2 weeks now, what have you found out?
Good question. I like him a lot. I mean, I think he's like, so what his sort of identity and MO is coming in, and I think he's gotten better in every game. Really, like I thought Columbus, he was outstanding. Last night he was pretty good again. But big physical guy that can move the puck efficiently. He's a smart player. He seems to be doing a nice job with and without the puck. I like the edge he brings, the size he brings, and it's just getting incrementally better as the year goes on. It's his first sort of stint in the National Hockey League, and I think like we can. You look at the conditioning of our team. I think he can take a step there that will help him. I think there's room for growth, but he's done a nice job and he's come in, and I feel pretty comfortable with him back there already.
Seems like Nate is maybe even on like a different level intensity wise than he normally is. Do you notice that, or is this just kind of who Nate always is?
I think it's kind of who he always is. I think there's a quiet, like, sort of confidence in his game right now, though. Like he doesn't seem to be getting too wound up about anything. He's just kind of sticking to his process. But I love when he's like that because he knows that his opportunities will come. And we're spreading out the ice time a lot here because we've had some leads in games, and that hasn't been a factor in his production. Like it's all sort of good overall team focus from him as a leader for our group.
Talking about him and his analytics and how he is really in depth in that as well. Did he spend a lot of that time with Mikko talking about that, and is doing that with Marty Necas as far as like what his analytics on him?
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't dug in as a group yet on our analytics because we like to get a bigger sample size. So usually let it go 10 games, and we kind of monitor them a little bit more frequently. Besides just our like overall team stuff that we're kind of keeping an eye on game to game. And then we put it together in a package and evaluate our first 10 games and kind of do that throughout the course of the year. So I haven't looked at his personal analytics. I know like his expected goals number is high and they're producing at that rate. They're spending a lot of time in O-zone play again last night, more than D-zone. I don't know how much he talked to Mikko about it or if he just kind of studies his own stuff, but I'm sure it's a little bit of both.
Natural stat trick had them at 14-0 in scoring chances last night.
And that's pretty good.
Yeah, you probably figured you'd probably take
that.
So,
I saw Kale. I think Kale was on for 28 shot attempts for and 2 against over the course of the game. So, hey, like when your top guys are doing that kind of stuff, the odds are always in their favor that they're going to score a little bit more than, some other lines. It help produce a lot and just don't score as easy. So I think when your top guys are doing that, you got yourself a really good chance to win.
Is it tougher to keep the momentum in the game when there's that many stops and starts?
Yeah, like I think our team likes to have a little flow to the game. But some of the stops and starts yesterday was special teams. Like we got going in the second period. I thought we had a dominant second period, which kind of carried us to the win. And if you look at that, you're doing the right things. You're highly competitive in the offensive zone. You're spending more time there. You draw more penalties. It's the kind of rhythm that we want to find, get rewarded for our hard work. If it's not by scoring a goal, then getting a power play and getting opportunities to score. So as that gets a little bit more dangerous, it's only going to help us more.
Top guys going, like what you were just saying, how much of that do you think you can attribute to what we talked to you about at the beginning of camp of like, you guys had a quiet summer, you're not having to deal with, the injuries and where's Gabe and what's going on with Val, and like, are guys just more able to focus on just playing?
It all factors into it, I think, healthy lineup, guys slotted where they're supposed to be, knowing what to expect from one another, playing with guys that you already have a little chemistry with, less noise around the team, for in multiple different areas, injuries, etc. And then just like the heartbreak from last year, I think there was a focus group coming in, like all of it, I think just, all of it plays a little bit of a role in how the team's sort of reacting here early in the season.
Ilya did say that he had a meeting with Nolan, and he was Nolan was almost encouraging him to try more stuff and do more stuff if he thinks it's there. Like it's been ingrained in him that he's a defense first, shut down guy or whatever. Like, how do you get a guy like that, and within 2 weeks, you guys have the confidence in him to, or like, hey, maybe try a little more freedom stuff.
Well, credit to him and what he's done since he's been here, just like in a short time playing games. But I mean, I think that is kind of our MO. Like, it's hard to create offense, and you got to have contributions from your back end, and we want it throughout our lineup. Guys, doing repeatable things, joining the rush, getting involved in the O-zone play within your skill set. So he's got a pretty good skill set. He's got decent hands and vision and hockey sense. So, we want him to sort of expand. It's not just about surviving in the league or being here. It's about making a positive contribution on a nightly basis. And he has that attitude. He kind of still sticks within his own parameters of the game. And we can help him with some systematic stuff that helps him get more dangerous. It's only going to help us overall. So we encourage all of our guys like Manson, like you wouldn't consider Manson an offensive defenseman, but he's involved every night in a bunch of scoring chances. So, that's kind of the identity we have as a team, and we want to build it throughout our lineup.